You want to make Khalid?
Ready? I want to make. You want?
Yeah.
You make like the Cape Townian food.
Want to make cake?
Cake.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ وعدنا موسى 40 ليلة ثم اتخذتم العجل من بعده وأنتم ظالمون صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم العظيم. وإذ وعدنا, and remember the promise that I made to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. 40 laylatan, for 40 nights. ثم اتخذتم العجل, then you held on to ijla, a cow, an idol of a cow. Min ba'dihi, after that. Wa antum zalimun, and for sure you have made zulm on yourself. Now under Islam we are looking at where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding the Bani Israel all those favors that He bestowed upon them. Like for example, last week we spoke about where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given Hazrat Musa alayhi salam the power in the asa. When he took the power of the asa and hit it in the sea, roads came about. And the Bani Israel themselves saved themselves from Fir'aun and the army of Fir'aun. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also reminds them about another incident. Now that incident is joined to the one where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made roads to come about in the sea. How? In what way? I'll explain to you. Look, when Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was in Egypt and his people, Fir'aun himself and his army were inflicting a lot of hardship on them, where their lives were being threatened and they were in turmoil basically. So during the night, Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and his people, the Bani Israel, they decided to leave Egypt and run away from Fir'aun and the army of Fir'aun. So while they were going and while they were running away from Fir'aun and his people, it is stated that they came to such a place where there was a sea and they couldn't go across the sea. And at that point, they thought to themselves, now we are finished. There's absolutely nothing that can save us. And they, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, had given Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam that asa, which was a miracle that was given to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa alayhi salam, take that asa and hit it in the sea. And when he hit it in the sea, roads came about. Now in front of them were Fir'aun. Behind them were Fir'aun and his army that were catching up with them. And they knew that now there's no way to live. And they turned to Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam turned to Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa alayhi salam, take that asa and hit it in the sea. And roads came about in the sea. Roads came about, they took that road and they went on the other side of that sea, and they stood and they were watching to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does to Fir'aun. Now it is stated that Fir'aun and his people now, they were chasing them. As they're chasing them, they came right to the end of that place where in front of them was the sea. Now it is stated that they were hesitating now whether to go into the sea, not to go into the sea. And that is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you look at tafseer al-bayan and the tafseer, the history and the tafseer of the ayat here, وَإِذْ فَرَقْنَا بِكُمُ الْبَحْرَ فَأَنْجَيْنَاكُمْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent Jibreel alayhi salam. And Jibreel alayhi salam was riding a horse that was a female horse. Now when that horse came down, one of the men from the Bani Israel, they were hiding in the mountain and they were watching this whole situation. And they saw when this Jibreel alayhi salam came with that horse, everywhere that horse put his leg, where there was nothing, something started growing from the ground. So he watched from far and he's watching this. And from the mountain now he comes down and he sees wherever that horse put his leg, he grabbed the sand and he put it in the bag and he kept it with him. Now he thought in his mind, now if this sand, wherever Jibreel, that hooves of the horse of Jibreel was touching, it was coming alive. So he grabbed the sand, he thought wherever he puts the sand, obviously that will come alive. So he had the sand in his bag and he kept it with him. Now what happened to Fir'aun? Because Jibreel alayhi salam's horse was a female and Fir'aun's horse was a male, that male horse saw the female horse and got attracted to that female horse. And Jibreel alayhi salam ran, he rode his horse right in the middle of the sea, and that horse ran behind him, and all the army of Fir'aun ran behind that as well. And when it all came in the middle, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the sea come back again. And all were drowned inside the sea. That was all the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which He did on Bani Israel to save them. Now come again where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَإِذْ وَعَدْنَا مُوسَى أَرْبَعِينَ, where the people were saying, we believe in you as a prophet, we believe in Allah, but we want to see. If we don't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our eyes, we won't believe it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Allah, I want to see you, I want to see you, I want to see you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no problem, come to Kuwait. He went to Kuwait. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him one jalak. He fell unconscious 40 days, 40 nights. But while he was on top in that mountain where he went to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the back, his people that were there in the back, this person who was a jeweler whose name is Samari, that had the sand. So when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was gone, so there was nobody there to lead. So what he did, he with gold, he made a statue, an idol of a cow. And he put the sand inside the mouth of that cow. The cow started speaking. It came alive. So the people, what they did now, they say, hey, you can talk. Because he could talk, they started all worshipping that cow. And they started all believing that this is Khuda, this is Allah. And the people of Musa alayhi salam that were in the back, most of them now, they turned towards this cow and they said, this is our Khuda, and they started worshipping the cow. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds them that you started worshipping the cow, you made zulm on your own nafs. And you will see further on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He forgave them. And He gave them a way of forgiveness. But the way of forgiveness was a forgiveness that everybody must see. But we'll see when we're going the ayat. Let me just explain to you quickly. It says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ وَأَذْنَا Musa, you must remember that promise I gave to Musa alayhi salam, arba'ina laylatan, when he came to Kuwait for the 40 days, 40 nights. Summa takhastum al-ijla, then you held onto that cow as your ma'bud, as your Allah. Min ba'dihi, after that. Antum zalimun, but you made zulm on yourself. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I gave you a chance of forgiveness, but the forgiveness was to be open to everybody must see what kind of forgiveness it is. Just like how you wanted to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your own eyes. Now, your forgiveness will be, you must kill each other. And for sure, they killed each other. And they were forgiven for that guna. That is where we see that because of our beloved Habib muhayyuddeen Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have so much of karam. And we have so much to be, so much favor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us, that is not enough even if we can't even appreciate the greatness of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Because we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without seeing Him. We believed in our beloved Habib muhayyuddeen Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam without seeing Him. That is why when we do guna today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you want to ask for forgiveness? Don't worry, you go and sit in a corner where nobody is watching. Nobody knows what guna you committed. It's just between you and me. And turn to me and ask me for forgiveness, I'll forgive you. All you have to do is feel bad in your heart. Shed one or two tears and I will turn towards you. But for the people of Musa alayhi salam, yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it openly. That for that guna that you made, faqtulu anfusakum. You must kill each other. For that sin of yours to be forgiven. But anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just reminding them again, here in this ayat again, that from all the favors that I bestowed upon you, by saving you from Fir'aun that time, even here also, after you made zulm upon yourself, I still gave you a chance for forgiveness. Still can't you understand, can't you comprehend? Believe in Allah. Believe in the Prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down, who is the last Prophet, which is Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to make them understand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding of the Quran, of the Hadith, of those people that came before us and the mistakes that they made, and not make the mistakes again, and make us better Muslims in the future. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. آمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا رسول الله انظر حالنا، يا حبيب الله اسمع قولنا، إننا في بحر غم مغرقون خذ يدي ساحل لنا أشقالنا. اللهم تقبل هذه درس القرآن في ghulestaana muhayyuddeen ببركة سيد الدين شاه سعدان بركاته العالية. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا بارك وسلم. Something to remember here as well. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the idols, now from here you can understand that to worship an idol is totally against Islam. It's not accepted in Islam. Anything that is man-made cannot be Allah, and nor can you worship anything like that. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ultimate. There's nobody like him. There's no example. Nor was he made from anyone, nor was he made from anyone, nor was anyone made from him. He is alone, unique. And that is his greatness.